The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar. I'm Matt from MJog, Marketing Manager. With me, I've got Brendan and Fraser, who will be answering your questions and doing a live demo. So thanks for joining. I want to go over the COVID-19 Resource Pack that we've built and how it can help you deliver the COVID-19 vaccine. So let's get started. So first of all, what can you expect from this webinar? So learn how to use MJog to educate and vaccinate patients. Tried and trusted solution, been here for 12 years or so now. We've done this before, not phased, and we're ready to crack on. So we're going to look deeper into the resource pack. We're going to match templates to each scenario. So do you want to invite people to their vaccine, or do you want to just tell them about it? Or do you even want to ask them if they want the vaccine? So we've got templates for all of those. Brendan's going to go over a live demo of appointments, template library, and also sending a campaign. And we've also had really good news from EMIS this morning on their new COVID-19 searches they will be implementing. So they'll be having searches within EMIS that can dig straight into the cohorts that have been provided. So it'll be nice and easy to send. And then we'll finish up with a Q&A with Brendan and Fraser. So if you can't wait, you're in a hurry, the webinar's not for you, you can grab the resource guide now from within the handouts, or just visit this landing page, https:/mjog.info/C19 pack, and you can grab it right now. But we do recommend that you hang around on the webinar. We can answer all your questions. So who have you got? You've got me, Matt. We've got Brendan. Say hello, Brendan. Probably got his mic muted. We've also got Fraser, and he's our flagship program manager. Brendan is our customer engagement manager.
Hello, everybody.
So how can you use MJog for the COVID-19 vaccine? So you can easily send invitations to the patient's cohorts and also send them via multiple channels. So we've got templates for SMS, for Smart. If you have MJog Smart is an add-on. About 50% of our CCGs have MJog Smart. So if you are one of those, make sure you contact your account manager or your CCG contact to make sure that you can get it. And we've also got email as well. One thing we can do really, really well, this is what practices use MJog for every week, you can educate your patient population with accurate COVID-19 information. So lots of people right now, lots of practices are getting rung all the time by patients asking, what's going on with the vaccine? When can I get it? Etc. So educate the patient population with a really good campaign. And we've already pre-built those for you as well. So stop patients ringing the practice. So also, how can you send appointment reminders to patients registered for vaccination? So we know that the COVID vaccine requires 2 appointments spaced 3 weeks apart. How do you organize that? How do you set that up in MJog? Brendan's going to go over that for you. And also with MJog, you can read code invitations and responses to the EMR. So MJog's the right tool for the job. We can deliver messages via multiple channels. It's good to keep in mind that it's a tried and trusted method. Online booking systems, I'm not quite sure of, and I don't think the older patients will be either. I can't imagine anyone in groups 1 and 2 wanting to use an online booking system. So get them to phone the practice. You can spread your invitations over multiple days to ease reception's workload. So don't send a campaign for 10,000 patients all on one day saying ring the practice, because you are going to be super busy. Recommend spreading that over at least a few days. And of course, you've got the automated appointment reminders and responses that sync with the clinical system. And you can use EMIS's new searches. So what is in the resource pack? We've got a nice box here full of nice looking things, but what do you actually get? So we've got a 12-page PDF. It's a step-by-step guide on how to set up your clinical system and everything else that you need to do. We've got the examples of templates and how you can use them. What's the best template to use for the scenario. We've got video guides that Brendan's kindly put together, available on our YouTube channel. So there's links to those, easy to access. And dedicated templates. So when mass vaccination centres are available, and we have a good list of those, you can add in the link to that Patients can easily find their nearest vaccination centre. And there's also suggested wording for your appointment messages too. So, handing over to Brendan for a live demo.
Thank you very much, Matt. Could you give me the screen then, please?
Okay, indeed.
Superb. Okay. So everyone should now be seeing an MJog for Wilburton surgery. Can we confirm that before I get? Yep.
And indeed, we can see that.
Lovely. Excellent. So let's start off with these appointments and the vaccinations that are spaced apart. The easiest way I've worked out for this to work alongside MJog is if you're using specific appointment types for those appointments. Because if you can have a specific type, then MJog can have wording for that appointment. So probably one thing you'll want to do in advance, and I'm thinking once we get off this call, just do this, build some appointment types. For my example here, I've got our EMIS, which I've logged out of course, and in there I built a COVID-1 and a COVID-2. Once you've got them built, book some appointments in there, probably using your test patients and such. MJog needs to see those appointment types in use. And once it sees them, it'll remember them, and then we can do things with them. But if you leave this until the day before your appointments and your vaccinations are coming in, don't do that. Do this bit kind of now. All right? Go into EMIS, make those types, and then give it a day. So you've made the types, you've booked those appointments, you put patients in for 2 or 3 days time, as long as it's within a week. The next morning, come into your MJog and dive into your settings. And in here, first of all, has it found those types? We can check that very quickly. You've got an appointments tab in your settings, and in there, change my appointment types. This is where you'd normally switch them on and off, whether you want to send for them or not. Now we can see now I've got a COVID-1 and a COVID-2. Of course, you name them whatever you want. So COVID-1, first jab, and COVID-2, the follow-up. Back out a page. And now it's a case of looking in our messages. Because with those new types in place, if I go into my message templates and my appointment templates today, there's probably a lot in here. Yeah, I thought as much. We want our appointments tab. On here, the very first template you've got, this is the default, and it's going to use this for anything else. So you may already have changed this recently to say that everything's by telephone or something like that. Wear a mask. Really, we're going further down from here. Scroll down that page and you find all the headings for your different appointment types. And if we put a template in these, it will overwrite and disregard the default. I mean, that's the default. If there's nothing else to use, it will use that. So we want to put new ones in here. Now, for each type, you'll have 2 templates as well. The actual reminder one, and below it, the confirmation message. You might be using these, you might not, but this would go a week ahead of the appointment, or up to a week ahead, when MJog first spots it, okay? So I've already put one in place for my COVID-1. We can see what that looks like. I click on the little phone. Wear a face covering for your appointment, and so on and so forth. I then want to put something in place for my follow-up, the second injection. So I'm going to edit that. You may well have Smart and text, as Matt was talking about. With Smart, you can build up anything. With these, you can build whatever you want, okay? So there's just a bit more to it, because you can start having links and you can have images and other bits and pieces such like that. Or if you want, you can just have straight base text. They're still going to receive it the same way. The message will get across just fine. So for Smart, as a base level, we can have dear whoever it is. So dear title, last name, don't forget your COVID second vaccination on day short, the day number of month long at time 24 hour. You'll definitely want to say where you are and who you are, so we put a hospital name in place. Some of you use site name. Site name's used when you've got more than one location normally, okay? So if you've usually got 2 or 3 different practices and you all use the same EMIS account, that kind of thing, then you'll use site name in place of hospital name. We've got one in Smart. Do not forget, you need one. You will need one. This is optional. You need one in text, okay? So your second COVID vaccination is due on day long, day number of month long at time 24 with hospital name. If you want to put the option for people cancelling appointments by text, you absolutely can. I don't know how keen you'll want people to be on that one, so you may want to just have them call you. If you need to rearrange your appointment, please call contact number. Contact number, well, we can see what it is because down below in your previews, it nails together an example with all kind of data in there. So the phone number will be whatever will come out in the message. Hospital name will be whatever you see in the message. It just pre-fills variables like dates and times. So you will want to fill these in. Go make your EMIS appointments, put some patients in them, then leave it. Don't worry about MJog for the rest of that day. I mean, it might be on later on in a few hours' time, but we say give it 24 hours just to cover our own backs more than anything else. But yeah, you'll want an appointment wording for each one. Okay. If you're doing the confirmation messages, again, the ones that go up to a week ahead, you'll also want to fill these in. I can almost hear people asking, which messages am I sending? So let's clear that up now in case that ends up in chat a few times. If you want to be sure what kind of messages you're sending, are you sending reminders? Are you sending confirmations? We're still in our message settings page. This time though, change when my messages are sent. So there's a text options page. This currently is set to not send any reminders and not do any confirmations. So for many of you, chances are you'll be sat with doing reminders 1 day in advance, and that confirmation one is entirely up to you. So you can change that as much or as little as you need. Just be sure to save your settings once you're done. But that's the appointment reminders. Again, this is all covered off in a video I put together on our YouTube channel. And of course, we'll have this webinar up as well. But that's the reminders side of it, all using your appointment types. The second piece, of course, are all these invitations saying to people, do you want immunizing and so forth, or telling them where the nearest mass vaccination centers are. This is a campaign. We talk about campaigns nearly every time. It's another one of these. Again, we've got a video for this. Communicate with my patients. You're going to have a list of whoever it happens to be, and you pull that out of your clinical system. We have built some templates and put them into our library. So download templates. And then there's this COVID-19 area in here. You're going to end up with three different templates in here. I know there's 6 on the screen now, but when it gets to you, there's going to be 3 because there's some repetition in these, and we're just going to give you like the final versions. Now, of course, you can see what any of them look like. We've got our icons at the side of the screen. So let's have a look. Vaccination invite. We've got a text version. there will be links in the messages. The only thing which this particular one would be, we might want to remove a link from this. So consider that. If you're going to be sending patients off to do an online booking at all, you may want to change what this message says. We've got a smart version of it. Same kind of idea. And these all include the NHS barcode. So for those of you who are using those to help process patients quicker through the system. And a link in here which will send them off to the NHS page, which contains all of the mass vaccination centres, and then they can search by postcode and that kind of thing. Again, these are all broken down on the pack which Matt's distributing. Do you want a vaccination? Let's see which of these is the up-to-date one. I think it's going to be this one. That's looking good to me. So whoever you are, do you want a vaccination, essentially, when available? A version by Smart and by text. I'm going to download this one. Again, the process of sending this is the same for all of them. It's going to be in my template list, so I can go back a page. And it's now sat in my lists. So do I want a vaccination message? Going to grab this. We've got 2 channels to use, so why not? Continue. Ignore that. In here, it's the same as any other campaign. If I want to change my message, for instance, that link, set up message template. Here's our smart one. As I said, there's more to these than you can do with text, with all your images and your tables and links and so forth. At the bottom here, we have the questions. So if I bring up a preview, you'll see this grey box converts itself into that question at the bottom there. Okay. That one might be okay. You may not want to do anything with that. We'll continue. Instead, we want to maybe change this one around. First name, last name. We need to plan for the vaccination. Do you want one or not? Reply yes or no. So that'll be fine like that for whether you use NHS Mail or not. Those sites who do have NHS Mail for their text, your patients will need to use the text back number in the message. They would have seen this before, potentially for your appointment reminders, so it shouldn't be anything new. Those of you who don't use NHS Mail, you can leave that text back number in if you like, or you can strip that out. And let's just do that now. Make any edits you want to do. Feed it a list of the patients. So you've got your CSV file full of NHS numbers or patient IDs for EMIS. I don't have many patients in this one, but if I upload, I can see we've got 100 patients. Let's have a look. Out of them, we get to see how many are going to get it and by which channel. Most of them are getting it to the app, but I have some patients who will not be getting a message at all through this. You'll want to know who they are, of course, so that you can message them by a letter or a phone call or something else anyway. So look to the bottom of your page. Export cannot send to CSV, and yes, you will get a spreadsheet of all the patients that MJog cannot reach. And so do with that as you need. That's all there really is to do here. You feed it a list, you get this table, you pull out that spreadsheet, and you continue. Delivery options is getting the message out of the door, and as Matt alluded to, if that patient list is in the thousands, especially in a case where your message says call us, don't ask 8,000 people to call you at the same time. It's not going to end well. On this page, you pick a date. But if you hold down Control on the keyboard, you can pick more dates. And that's just going to split that list equally over that many days. For those of you who are worried, it goes in either order of NHS number or EMIS number, depending which you fed it in the first place. Don't repeat this. it sounds like a good idea, but for this particular message, don't do repeats. And you probably want to do your messages during daytime. So that's between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. when you're open. Any evening will be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Any time is as it suggests. So daytime's your best bet. The final piece we're going to need to do will be any coding. We need to set up our clinical coding. If you're using both channels, both smart and text, you're going to have 2 pages to do here. You can see in the top left, when my mouse comes back to life, there it is. Smart and text, text and smart. If you don't put codes into one of those, then it won't do codes when patients receive it in that manner. So now I don't know what the codes are for this, I'll be honest on that. But I want to say that, yes, they messaged in saying they want a vaccination. Okay, we go for these green crosses. And the only option you can pick right now is the top one. It's picked for you. So pay this no mind and continue. And tell it which code you want to use. In my case, I'm using SNOMED, so I need to look these up. If you're System 1 and you're still using the older read codes, then you can type them straight into MJog. But with SNOMED, you do need to search them out. At which point you'll probably be confronted with many that, here, text sent to patient. Oh no, of course, text received from patient. I very nearly did a little mistake there that many sites can make, which is putting the wrong code in the wrong place. Or the right code in the wrong place, indeed. We're putting in their replies. We don't want to be saying deliveries at this point. So text received from patient and any comments to taste, whatever that happens to be. This is just going to go, you're going to have the code and comment space, whatever you want. So add that. We'll need one for no. Let's see if I can do this. Similar kind of idea, except you'll probably have a different code, of course. Give it a code and wording. And we're going to let that save. Let me just be sure I've got them potentially. Oh, there we go. I was just trying to go too quickly for it. There it is, already sat in there. Message is delivered. They got it. They got this message. Whether they read it, we can't tell you, but they definitely had it turn up in that phone number. So we're going to code that. Same again. Look up a code. What do you want? And this time I'm going to use the text sent to patient. There it is. And that's everything for the smart one. Don't forget, though, we have actually got 2 pages of this to do. So same idea, except we need to also tell it what we're looking for. So you can see you'll have your message up there with the wording you're using, and we need to tell MJog what wording we're looking for. Well, we've got an option of yes, and we've got an option for no. And we can then use our green crosses to carry on adding in all the different codes that we may or may not be needing. Received. Oh, there we go. And no. If you do make any typos or you need to change a code altogether, you've got the little pencils next to these. You can change what you put in there, or you can just use the cross and it gets rid of it entirely and you can start again. Message is delivered, of course. Do a code. Same one. Of course, you'll use the proper ones in the proper places. We cannot remove codes from your clinical system, okay? So if you put the wrong codes in, and they all get returned into patients' records. We can't help you remove those. That's going to be a System 1/EMIS thing. So you'll pick one of your templates. You might be using all of them, whichever one it is, but again, it's just like any other campaign. Follow the 4 steps of what and who and when and indeed why, and we can get that all sent. Review page of how many are you sending and when are they going, what it should look like, and what we can also do is send ourselves a copy up front just to be on the safe side. Test messages do not do coding at all, so I can send this, but even if you put your own, if you put your Donald Duck or something in here, whatever test patient you've got, it's not going to code into that. Okay, it hasn't got that kind of link. Send test message, why not? Let's see if that comes through to me in the near future. And as long as you're all happy with it and it all works for you, you can indeed get a copy to yourself when it goes to the patient. That's what this tick box at the bottom is all about. Otherwise, send messages. Are you sure? Well, let's say yes. And that's it. That's your campaign uploaded for sending over several days to as many patients as you need. And I'll quickly touch on something else, which is, whoops, I didn't mean to hit send. If you've ever done that, if you've hit send on something and regretted it and wanted that stopping very quickly, manage previous communications. You'll find any campaigns you've sent already all in here. Indeed, you'll find ones you half built and then walked away from. They'll all sit within. Be in the campaigns tab. There's my one from just now. We can see this all looks fairly familiar, and if I look further down, we have this control panel section. Making a copy is also something you might find useful. This will take the coding and the wording you've used, create a new campaign out of it, and you give it a list of patients and a bunch of dates, and you don't have to do the rest because it's already in there. Cancel this. We'll cancel this. It will leave it in the system, so you're not building it from the ground up. If you need to just change the wording, you can change the wording. If you need to pull the patient file and put another one in, or just add more patients, you can absolutely do that. There's an option down there again for clear patient selection, and that will remove the list you gave it already, so you can start with that fresh. And those are campaigns. So again, if you want to see what all the different templates look like, they are all in the template library. Download templates in the COVID-19 version. And you're only going to see 3 here, but there'll be the 3 finished products. So we've got a couple of beta versions here, if you like, which we were working on. So that's kind of the live demo. Again, we've got these, we've got the appointment section and the campaign section. There's 2 different videos up on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Brendan, for that great overview. Let me just take back control of the screen. Thank you very much. So lots of questions coming in there, and we're trying our best to answer them all as they come in. We will be following up on our Facebook community group afterwards as well. So let's just have a quick recap. So we're ready to help practices now. There's no additional cost at all to your practice, PCN, Health Board, CCG, or even NHS Digital or NHS England for that matter. We're going to keep cracking on and providing these really valuable solutions. You need to remember that older cohorts of patients, so your groups 1, 2, and 3, are unlikely to engage with the online booking system. So make sure that you are providing solutions that you can communicate with those patients. They often feel alienated at the best of times. So make sure that you engage them in the right way. Focus on what they know and use. And then also let us know what other templates you need. We will make them if they work for everyone. So we're not going to make your individual templates for you, and that's up to you. But if there is a template you think everyone can use, then please do let us know, get in touch. because we will do our best to do that. We also have, that Brendan didn't touch on today, I didn't ask him to, just a new smart template that has been released this week is the ethnicity template, which is really helpful for recording ethnicity of patients. Not very good in text message because it's just way too long, but for Smart it's absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't used it yet, really would recommend that. So you can now download the COVID-19 Resource Pack. It is the handout in the GoToWebinar panel. Does include it as well, or you can register on that link there. The link is in the chat for you. And I go into a Q&A. Was there any questions, Fraser and Brendan, that you'd like to answer right now? Hand over to you.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Brendan, after you.
Oh, thank you very much. We've got a couple of people asking, we're not sending patients to us, they're going off to other locations. That shouldn't be a problem, as long as when you are making your message template, again, you can tweak that. And if you've got a list of patients going to site A, a list going to site B, and so on and so forth, you feed it site A list of patients, and in the message template, instead of putting hospital name or site name, whatever it is, tell them where to go. Tell them where they're going. There are other ways of doing this through MJog, but if you've got separate lists of, this clinic, that clinic, clinics down the road, then make that part of your message. It'll just be an easier way of doing it. It breaks it down.
Is that the answer to Julie's question there, Brendan?
That is.
Brilliant.
That is.
Thank you. We've got one from Russ Clark, which says, will it work with the appointment confirmation SMS in mass vaccination PCN scenario? So will an SMS message be sent from the booking practice, have the correct address of the practice where the appointment will take place, and not the address of the practice that booked it? So that is when you use either the solution that Brendan's just described, or you can use the custom message field for that, I believe.
Well, what Russ has got there is other people booking things into his clinical system. I think I could be reading this wrong. Now, what I did with appointment types could be your way out of this one, Russ, in that if you're telling them to book it under a particular type, you can then set a wording for that type. If MJog spots an appointment, it will try and send for it unless we've told it otherwise through various settings changes. But you can get those slot types up front, ready to go, this week. Put a bunch of patient or a patient in each of them for this week. Then, actually, no, it's Thursday, isn't it? Put them for Monday. So book those patients in, let MJog find those types, then build up the relevant wording for those different types and locations. So if you've got 3 different places that you're sending to, you might end up building up to 6, for instance, slot types for that. But better that than sending patients to the wrong place, I'm sure.
Definitely. So there was a couple about, will this work with GP Connect and the cross-organizational appointments. So that's something I think we're going to follow up with on our Facebook community group afterwards, once we've got a solid answer for you. So that will be the best way to sort that question there. I know a few people are asking that one. Lisa's asked, do you have to be a current user of MJog? I'm not sure the context, but obviously you can create a new user in the settings. If you want to expand, Brendan? I'm not sure the context here. It's a very difficult one.
Well, you'll need to have MJog to be able to access any of this for certain. Where's my background gone weird? If you do not currently have a login, I can absolutely show us through a quick way of addressing that. Matt, if you want to chuck me a
there you go. You should be able to now see Brendan's screen coming up.
Except all of a sudden, the one thing I need has disappeared. There it is. Okay. So, as long as you have administrator privileges or someone in the building does, and they can log into MJog, this All Options tab at the top and type Users, manage MJog users, and you can build, remove, and amend people's logins all in here. Look to the bottom of your page. There's an Add a New User. Fill in the blanks. You need your name. You need whatever you want as a login. your work email. This is in case you forget your password. Speaking of passwords, they could be anything you like, and you don't ever have to change them either, so whatever you want. If you want to send, okay, let's go from the top down. Administrator is access everything. If you're going to be making these slot types and all that kind of stuff, you will want that. Full, you can do recalls, you can do the campaigns bit. Read write, you can't do any of that, but you can send one-offs. So you can do quick message and desktop GP, and read write is purely, you can see it, you just can't do anything with it. So I think your main answer is going to be go for, you know what, just go, unless someone's got a problem with it, go administrator. Can't have too many.
Brilliant, thank you.
But that's your way for that one.
Excellent. Jade's quickly asked, will there be a copy of this webinar? Yes, it will be available. We're going to put that on our YouTube channel, also in the Facebook community group as well. There was a question here, a good one actually, from Joanne. PCN appointments do not have registered patients, so how will MJog pick up the patient details / appointments from the original surgery?
I don't particularly want to give a firm answer on that one, just because I don't want to lead anyone down the wrong path.
Okay, not a problem. What we'll do then is we'll get a firm answer, and we will go back to that one in the Facebook group this afternoon. Sorry about that, Joanne. We have one as well. Does Desktop GP system sit on top of EMIS in a similar way to AccuRx? That's from Mel. It certainly does. Yep, the Desktop GP system. Do you have that on the Azure demo system, Brendan? You can quickly bring up.
Yeah, I can come up with something along those kind of lines. Bear with me a sec. I just need to get all my various windows in line so I can find what I want. Because it's logged me out of EMIS because I didn't look at it for 5 minutes.
No worries. The
short answer now is that. Oh, sorry, Matt.
Oh, sorry, Brendan. Fraser, you crack on.
I just want to follow back on the question that Kerry asked earlier about which recodes we should be using for these campaigns. Now, unfortunately, we can't tell you which codes you need to use, but you can use a pre-built code search engine, which we have with an MJog, so that will search for SNOMED codes if you're EMIS, and also version 3 codes if you're System 1 as well.
Superb. So whilst Brendan's still loading up EMIS, the Desktop GP system is available for free if you are a funded CCG or group or PCN. So please do get in touch with us for that, sales@mjog.com, and we can sort you out with that. At the moment, we would like to release it to everybody for free. It's just we want to make sure that we release the best product that we can. We've currently got our new interface for Desktop GP being tested in pilot sites at the moment, which is really exciting, for a wider release in January and early next year. So you can get Desktop GP. It's not currently as easy as we would like, and we are working on that to make it even easier. So Brendan, have you discovered Desktop GP yet in your trial system here?
My trial system is giving me a few trials of its own. There we go.
So this is the new interface for Desktop GP, currently sitting in pilot sites. And yeah, it's very snazzy, and the MJog interface itself will follow suit next year as well, to be much more modern and easier to use, which is very exciting.
Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, it's very similar to that other product that's out there. So it's one of those scenarios where once it's in there, you probably don't need telling too much how this works. Load up a patient that you want to send a message to, click the little speech bubble, and there we go. Now this is actually configured to use something else. This has got our web messenger extra built onto it. So it might just be this dumps you straight into normal everyday text. That's no bad thing. But of course, yes, we can do it with smart messaging as well. And your message goes here, and then you clean up all your typos so you don't embarrass yourself. And you can have templates, of course, as well, and they can be whatever you want. You could have your COVID vaccination set as a template where you just fire it to one person at a time, if you like.
It might take you a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it if you've got thousands to go through. If you're doing a mop-up and you just find a few each day, then you can do it that way if you like. That's sent, and lo, it's in my phone.
Brilliant. Thanks for showing us that, Brendan. So the Mel is an individual subscription. Is it still free to us? I think that's something we're working on for early next year. It's not currently free to you, Mel, but please do get in touch, and Fraser and his wider team can have a chat on the individual basis there. Yep, looking forward to the new UI. Looks really good. Thank you, Sean. Let's see if there's anything else in now that we can grab. There's one from Megan Fraser. Might be able to expand on with Brendan. Does the desktop GP text save straight to the patient record?
Yes, it does. Yeah. So if Brendan doesn't mind opening up the quick message function within desktop GP, we can show you how to add a code.
Well, there's actually two ways of doing this. Yes, you can do them one off at a time, where you've got an area down the bottom here, and you pick which, you do the same kind of thing we did before, find a code, go through that business. You can have a comment as well. Now, if you've got a template in here and you're going to use it regularly, and you've got the same code that you'd use on it each time, then save yourself more, put a few more clicks in up front and save yourself down the road. So if I was to take the flu vac, I've got a flu vac version here, okay? And this is just for my one-off messages. If I go into where I have all of my templates, it's where I make them, it's where I make them favorites and all the rest of it. Now messages. Appointment messages, campaigns or your big recalls, everything else is in this now reply. And somewhere I have a flu vac, there it is. Whenever you're building these, you can set a default code in here on the top of the template itself. Again, you look it up or you type it in, depending which way you're doing it. You can use message as comment. It's fairly self-explanatory that, but yeah, whatever's in the body of the message becomes a comment on that code. Save this. And this time, if I go to try and send a message, here we go, load that up again. And I want my flu back.
It would do it to you on the demo, wouldn't it, Brendan? Maybe it needs
That's exactly what I like to see. Yes, that's absolutely spot on, making me look great. So you get the gist of it. That will work on yours. It's just decided not to work on mine today.
The demo system is still in development, and the Mel has another follow-up question for Desktop GP, and it's one that I can answer. Surprisingly, being the marketing person here, not the technical one. The receipt of does it allow the receipt of images and pictures, etc. So that is excitingly going into pilot sites this week, being made available to a few selected pilots, and for wider release early next year. So it does. I've seen it working. It's very good. I would say that, but it is good, and it allows you to rotate the pictures, and it's nice and easy to use. So that's an answer to your question, Mel. Let's see if we can wrap up. I think there's one here from Julie, just asking a follow-up. I think applies to most people on this on the webinar today. We will have patients from 3 other surgeries booking on our system. Please, can you get back to me about how this will affect the texting? Can we answer that now, or is that a follow-up?
To a
That's
degree.
more of a follow-up. More of a follow-up, I would suggest, yeah, because these questions can get quite complicated. So what I would advise you to do, Julie, if you can email support@mjog.com, and if you can mark it for my name's Fraser and Brendan's attention, we can get back to you in that one. It's something we do need to do a bit of digging at our end to give you a definitive answer.
Yeah, and we'll put the answer in our Facebook group too, won't we? So
good. Yeah, and it does appear there's several different ways that sites are telling us this is happening. And again, it's going to break down to how those appointments look in your system as to how we might be able to address that. If they come through as different sessions or different clinics, or do they come through as an entirely different location? There's so many variables to this, and so may not be an entire one-size-fits-all solution. If we can do, then absolutely we will, because we'd rather do one piece of content which helps everyone than do 50 of them, and you've got to pick the right one. But yeah, that's going to be a meaty answer to that. We'll be here a long time.
Brilliant. Well, I think we're going to wrap up now. The handout does have the guide in there, the resource pack guide. You can also grab it from the link in the chat as well. My thanks obviously to Brendan and Fraser for great question answering and good demoing as always. And if you have any questions, the support team are there for you at support@mjog.com, and we're available pretty much all the time on our Facebook group. We don't provide one-to-one support there, but share tips and tricks, and you can find that on the MJog community Facebook group. All right, brilliant. Have a nice afternoon, everyone. Thank you.